Manipur is an Indian state situated in the northeast region of India. It is bounded by Nagaland in north, Mizoram in south, Myanmar on east, and Kachar district of Assam on west. With a total area of 22,327 square kilometers, Manipur separates itself into hills and a valley. The valley accounts for only 2,238 square kilometers, a mere 10.02% of the total area, but it houses 57.2% of the total population of the state. The state's hill area with 20,089 square kilometers represents the rest 42.8%. Of the three major ethnic groups, the Meiteis, who largely inhabit the valley, constitute the largest section of the state and are a non-tribal grouping. The hills are the abode of the Nagas and the Kukis, with their 29 subtribes. Muslims, who are mostly immigrants from pre-partition East Bengal, the erstwhile East Pakistan and present-day Bangladesh, and who are known as Pangals, are mostly residents of the valley. This grouping forms around 8% of the state's population. The remaining non-tribal population are from different parts of the country, which are known as Mayang or outsiders. Last week, the All Tribal Student Union Manipur organized a tribal solidarity march. The march, which took place in Churachandpur district's Torbung area, was called to protest the Meiteis demand for scheduled tribe status according to the Times of India. The march was organized by tribals including Nagas, Zomis, and Kukis, who comprise around 40% of the state's population. This was after the Manipur High Court last month asked the state government to send a recommendation to the center within 4 weeks on the Meiteis demand for ST status. During the march in Torbung area of Churachandpur district, an armed mob allegedly attacked people of the Meiteis community, leading to retaliatory attacks in the valley districts, which escalated violence throughout the state. Many shops and houses were vandalized. Stone pelting occurred in Kangwai Torbung after an arson attack was reported at the Anglo-Kuki War Memorial. In the Imphal Valley, houses of Kuki tribals were ransacked in several areas, forcing them to flee. Over 500 residents of the Kuki-dominated Langol area in Imphal West fled their homes and are currently staying at the CRPF camp at Lamphel. Some places of worship were also set on fire in the Imphal Valley. In this podcast, we will try to understand the reasons behind the conflicts in the state of Manipur while taking a look at the various demands and desires of the different ethnic communities in the state. The sources which were used in the research of this podcast are listed in the description. Why the Meiteis demand the scheduled tribe status? As of today, 34 subtribes of the Naga and Kuki-Zomi tribes are on the government's list of scheduled tribes, but the Meiteis are not. The Meiteis have been demanding for scheduled tribe status, arguing that it needs to be protected from the influx of outsiders and infiltration. For the Meiteis community, there's resentment as tribals have been buying land in the Imphal Valley where they live, but they haven't been allowed into the hills. Why the tribes are against the demand for the status of scheduled tribes put forward by the Meiteis community? The Meiteis are the largest community in Manipur. They are dominant in the capital Imphal and are the ones commonly referred to as Manipuri. According to the last census of 2011, they are 64.6% of the state population but occupy only about 10% of the landmass of Manipur. On the other hand, there are tribals known as the Nagas and Kukis, who account for nearly 40% of the population, but reside across 90% of Manipur's land. While the Meiteis are mostly Hindu, the Nagas and Kuki Zomis are mainly Christian. Manipur has nearly equal population of Hindus and Christians at around 41% each, according to the data from the 2011 census. Those who argue against the demand for the ST status say some sections of the Meitei community are already classified under scheduled caste or other backward classes and are privy to opportunities that are afforded by that tag. In a plea before the Manipur High Court demanding the same, the Meitei Tribe Union argued that they were a recognized tribe before the merger of the princely state of Manipur with the Union of India in 1949, but lost that identity after the merger. They have argued in court that the demand for ST status goes well beyond reservation in jobs, educational institutions, and tax relief, and extends to the need to preserve the community and save the ancestral land, tradition, culture, and language of the Meiteis. The demand for ST status for Meiteis has always faced resistance from the other tribals, namely the Kukis and the Nagas. They argue that the Meiteis are the dominant population in the state and also hold dominance in political representation. They further argue that the Manipuri language of the Meiteis is already included in the 8th schedule of the constitution, and that sections of the Meitei community, which is predominantly Hindu, are already classified under scheduled caste or other backward classes and have access to opportunities associated with that status. Developments in the direction of the inclusion of the Meitei community into the scheduled tribe list. Earlier in March, the Manipur High Court directed the state government to recommend the inclusion of the Meitei community in the scheduled tribes list. On April 20, Hill Areas Committee of the Manipur Legislative Assembly passed a resolution opposing the High Court's order and called for the union governments and the state government to appeal it. The HAC is powered by the Constitution of India to monitor the law making and administration of hill areas. The HSC was not happy that as a constitutional body of the hill areas of Manipur, it was not consulted during the discussion of the order, and also because most of its leaders come from hilly areas. Conclusion. Article 355 has been invoked in the state of Manipur. Article 355 of the Constitution deals with an emergency provision by which the center can intervene and protect a state against external aggression or internal disturbances. It stipulates that maintenance of law and order of a state will come under the center. Article 355 is a part of emergency provisions contained in Part 18 of the Constitution of India from Article 352 to 360. State's Director General of Police has said that the situation in the state has improved after the intervention of security forces. The total curfew that prohibited the movement of any person outside their homes will be relaxed for 3 hours in violence hit Manipur's Churachandpur district on Sunday morning to allow people to buy essential items such as medicines and food according to a notification. The curfew imposed under Section 144 of the CRPC will be relaxed 7 am to 10 am. Manipur's Chief Minister N. Biren Singh on Saturday held an emergency all-party meeting in Imphal to discuss ways to bring peace to the state. The meeting resolved to form a peace committee in every assembly constituency to ensure that These initiatives are implemented at the grassroots level. That's it for this podcast, guys. Thank you so much for choosing this podcast and giving me your precious time. Please like, share, and subscribe if you are on YouTube, and follow the podcast if you are on Spotify. I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, goodbye.